नमस्कार दोस्तों, मेरा नाम है डॉक्टर गौरव और मैं आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत करता हूँ अपने यूट्यूब चैनल पर जिसका नाम है दयाल एंड सन्स क्लासेस केमिकल साइंसेस। और आज की इस वीडियो से वी आर स्टार्टिंग विद अ न्यू लेक्चर सीरीज ऑन ऑर्गेनोमेटेलिक केमिस्ट्री in which we will be discussing various types of chemical reactions that take place in an organometallic compound or organometallic complexes. In the first lecture, we are starting with the discussion on oxidative addition reactions. Oxidative addition. The oxidative addition, as the name suggests, means addition of ligand. Addition here denotes the addition of ligand to the metal complex, and oxidative here indicates that the metal center on which the ligand is being added will get oxidized. So the oxidative addition is basically addition of ligand. It's basically the addition of ligand on an organometallic complex. Addition of ligand on an organometallic complex involving oxidation of the metal center and the oxidation of metal center. So the oxidative addition is the addition of ligands in an organometallic compound or complex or a transition metal complex involving oxidation of metal center. Now the question arises, what is the necessary condition for oxidative addition to occur? For oxidative addition, the necessary conditions are, or you can say the basic criteria of the metal center that metal center should have in order to have the tendency to get oxidatively addition or to undergo oxidative addition. The first and foremost is metal. Just a minute. Criteria / condition of oxidative addition with respect to organometallic complex. Now, first and foremost is that the metal center must be having high electron density. First and the foremost condition is the electron density. The metal should have high electron density. High electron density means now the electrons will be available for donation to the ligand, to the incoming ligand, and forming the bond. Right? The electron density here indicates since in metal center oxidation will occur by the electron transfer of electron, and in order to have the electron transfer to take place, what must one have on the metal center is the electron density should be there. There must be some kind of high electron density present on the metal, which means that the excess electrons are available for transferring to the incoming ligand and bond formation will take place. Second condition is metal center must be coordinatively unsaturated. metal center in the complex must be coordinatively unsaturated. This means there must be at least two or more vacant coordination sites on the reacting complex. By coordinative unsaturation, we mean that there is availability of vacant coordination sites on the metal centers of the reacting complex. And third condition is metal center with stable oxidation state, must have a stable oxidation state separated by two units. The oxidation state, the difference between the oxidation state of the substrate and the one which we are getting in the product, the metal oxidation state will change by +2. This means that the oxidation state, since the oxidation state changes from, let's say, in the starting complex, if it was +1, then in the final product it became +3 after oxidative addition, which means that once it was M plus and 3 plus is the high oxidation state, which is stable for that particular maybe that must be stable, that high oxidation state must be stable, and the separation between the stable oxidation states must be +2 at least. And also, now there must be a difference of 2 in the two oxidation state, but what we need to say is that the higher oxidation state is energetically accessible, and stable. See, the stable oxidation state should be stable, and the stable oxidation state must be separated by 2 units. And also to remember this, that when we are going from a lower oxidation state to high oxidation state, the higher oxidation state, higher oxidation state must be energetically accessible. That is, we don't that it is because it means that if the high oxidation state is energetically accessible, that means that with the minimum amount of energy, the particular reaction can take place easily and faster. Will be easier and faster. If the high oxidation state is not energetically accessible, then there are chances that the reaction does not take place at all, or takes place at a very minimum. A very small amount of product is formed, right, or no reaction takes place. For example, IR1 can easily be oxidized to IR3. Upon oxidative addition can be easily oxidized to IR3, but if, let's say, if in our metal center we have iron which is in +3 oxidation state, it cannot go to Fe5 oxidation state, because this is not energetically accessible. This oxidation state is not energetically accessible as well as unstable. Because iron in +5 oxidation state is not inaccessible energy state, and also it is not stable. So the reaction will not go from Fe3 plus to Fe5. Rather, if the complex was in Fe plus 5, the backward reaction will be fair, because Fe3 plus oxidation state is very stable. Alright, and in case of IR3, this IR3 oxidation state is energetically accessible and stable. That's why if the complex has IR in one oxidation state and it also has the vacant coordination sites and the electron density on IR1 is high, that is no electronegative substituent is present on IR, then it will easily undergo oxidation to IR3 plus during oxidative addition. I hope this point is clear. Now let's take a general reaction first and then understand what is actually happening in oxidative addition. Now let's say we have a complex LNM and it reacts with AB ligand. This is a ligand AB. It interacts with the complex LNM and forms, on oxidative addition, results in the formation of LNMAB. And if you calculate the formal charge on metal center, let's say in the starting complex it was Z plus, that the oxidation state of metal was Z plus in this case, then in the product the oxidation state will become Z plus 2. Oxidation state will be equal to Z plus, that is change in oxidation state delta OS is equal to plus 2. And now if we calculate the electron count, what we will find is that the change in the total electron count will also be plus 2. If we calculate the total electron count for this complex and difference between the total electron count of this complex and subtracted by the total electron count for this complex, that difference will come out to be plus 2. That difference will come out to be plus 2. So from here what we can say that in an oxidative addition, what happens, the metal center oxidation state of metal centers changes by plus 2 and that of the total electron count also changes by 2 units. Okay, so what happens if this complex had been, let's say this complex was 16 electron complex, then in the product the complex we obtained would be the 18 electron complex. So this total electron count going from 16 to 18 is the driving force for this reaction. Why this is driving force? Because by 18 electron rule we know that 18 electron complexes are very stable and 16 electron complexes are not very stable in comparison to 18 electron complexes. So this difference of 2 electrons is the driving force in this reaction. The driving force in this reaction is to get to the stable electron count of 18 electron, right? I hope this much is clear. Now let's take an example of a complex. Let us understand it with the help of a complex. Let's say we have a complex IR Cl this react with hydrogen, what happens? The product obtained is IR product obtained would be this. Now let us see the oxidation state in this case. Oxidation state of PPS3 is a neutral ligand, CO is a neutral ligand, PPS3 is a neutral ligand. Total charge on the complex is 0. Now Cl is always present as Cl negative in a complex. Cl negative is one negative charge, and since all complexes are neutral, so the oxidation state of IR will come out to be, oxidation state in this case will be equal to +1. Oxidation state comes out to be +1. Let us also calculate the total electron count for this. Total electron count is equal to IR, iridium. Iridium contributes 8 electron. Iridium contributes 8 electron plus for Cl 1, PPS3 2, IR 9. Cobalt iridium. IR contributes 9 electron, 1 electron for Cl, 2 electron for PPS3. There are 2 PPS3 multiplied by 2, and there is 1 CO. 1 CO contributes 2. Total will come out to be 16. 4 plus 2 6, 6 plus 1 7. It's come out, total electron count will be 16. Now let us calculate the oxidation state in this case. Now here oxidation state will be, there are 2 hydrogens and 1 Cl. The hydrogens are always present in the form of hydride in the complex. So the formal oxidation state for IR in this case would be, now see, overall complex has a 0 oxidation state. Overall complex is neutral. 1 negative for chlorine, 1 negative for hydrogen, 1 negative for this hydrogen. So total 3 negative charge. Overall charge is 0 of the complex. So IR must be in +3 oxidation. So oxidation state is +3. And also let us also calculate the total electron count. Now IR again 9 for chlorine 1. There are 2 PPS3 means 4 electron, 1 CO that is means 2. There are 2 hydrogen, 1 hydrogen contribute 1 and 1 into 2. There are 2 hydrogens, so 1 into 2. That is, this will come out to be 18 electron. Total electron count in this case is 18. So you can check from here, if you take the difference from 18 minus 16, it will give me +2. Oxidation state difference in oxidation state is also +2. I hope this is clear. So always remember, in an oxidative addition, what happens? The oxidation state of the metal changes by +2, and that of the total electron count also changes by 2 units, increases by 2 units. I hope this much is clear. Now we have already seen general reaction. Ln M plus AB gives me Ln M A B. Now so far we have discussed conditions related to this complex. We have already discussed the condition related to this complex. This complex, what are the essential properties that this particular complex must have in order to undergo oxidative addition. Now here we have AB. this ligand which is entering the molecule or adding into the molecule. This also this particular ligand which is adding on, which is undergoing an oxidative addition on this complex, also imposes certain, causes certain impact on the mode of oxidative additions. So let us first see what are the classification for these ligands. Major classes of compounds, major classes of ligands that can undergo oxidative addition. That can undergo oxidative addition. And there are three possible categories. One is non-polar ligands, non-polar or low polarity. Non-polar or low polarity ligands. Then polar ligands, and third is ligands with pi electron system. Example of non-polar are H2, H2, X2, H2, X2, HSiR3, selenium hydride, thiols, aryl groups, arenes, but basically arenes, alkanes, etc. These are some of the example of the ligands that are non-polar, low nuclearity, that can undergo oxidative addition with the metal complexes. In case polar ligands are RX, that is alkyl halide or aryl halides, AX, ARX, aryl halide, HX, hydrogen halides, HX is hydrogen halide, then RCOX, acetyl chlorides, carbonyl chlorides, chloroform, ROTS, alkyl toluene, and RSO2X, etc. These are some of the polar ligands that can undergo oxidative addition. Now in case of pi system, the examples are O2, alkenes and alkynes. These are the ligands with pi electron system that can undergo oxidative addition. So basically we have three major classification of compounds which can undergo oxidative addition. One is the non-polar, having a low nuclearity, low polarity. For example, hydrogen, halogens, silicon hydride, thiols, arenes, alkanes, etc. These are some of the compounds that can undergo non-polar or having low polarity molecules that can undergo oxidative addition. Then we have polar ligands, for example alkyl halides or aryl halides, hydrogen or hydrogen halide, then carbonyl chlorides, chloroform, ROTS, alkyl toluene, and RSO2X, sulfonyl chlorides, sulfonyl halides, alkyl sulfonyl halides. And the third system is containing the ligand pi electron system, which are oxygen, alkenes and alkynes. These are some of the examples of ligands, some of the systematic ligands that can undergo oxidative additions. I hope this much is clear. Now let's look upon the trends in oxidative addition. General trends in oxidative addition. Now let us discuss some general trends in oxidative addition. Now in oxidation addition, first point is general trend. Basically in this first point is related to metal center. Now the oxidative addition increases as we go down the group in the periodic table. Oxidation state increases as we go down the group in the periodic table. Why? What could be the reason? Now, we have already discussed that one of the basic conditions that is required that a metal center should have high electron density and they must be coordinatively unsaturated. Now, as we go down the group, what happens? As we are going down, the number of electrons are increasing, right? As well as the nuclear charge is also increasing. As we go down the group, what happens? Number of electron increases and the number of cells also increases. And since the number of cells increases, now the valence electron which is taking part in the reaction is far away from the nucleus, and therefore that will be loosely held and hence can easily be donated to the ligands, and thereby as a result the oxidative addition will be in rate of oxidation state will increase as we go down the, because the electron can easily be donated due to reduction in the ionization energy. This is because since high electron density means having high electron density means that it has a high tendency to lose the electron. That means low ionization energy. This point means in the criteria condition we have discussed that the metal center must have high electron density, and due to this high electron density, what is happening? Electron donation becomes easier. That means the ionization energy should be low, and as we go down the group the ionization energy decreases. As a result, oxidation of the metal center increases, tendency of oxidation of the metal center increases, and since the oxidation tendency increases, therefore oxidative addition tendency will increase. Okay, as we go down the group, for example, let us take an example of IR plus, RH plus and CO plus, cobalt 1 plus. Now this IR, RH and cobalt both belongs to same group. These all belong to same group, and CO lies on top of the group, RH below it and IR further below it. So the rate of oxidation state, in complex of IR plus, RH1 and CO plus having same ligands. Now here what we are considering that the ligands which these IR plus, RH plus and CO plus is bonded are same, right? When all the ligands attached to this IR positive or RH plus 1 complex or CO cobalt 1 plus complex which is undergoing oxidative addition is the same, then as the electron density increases or the ionization decreases, the rate of oxidative addition will increase. And in this case, since cobalt lies top the order, the rate of ionization, the order of decreasing ionization energy will be IR plus less than RH plus less than cobalt plus. So ionization energy of cobalt plus will be the maximum, followed by RH, and least will be in case of IR plus. Lowest, low and high. This means rate of oxidation state, rate of oxidative addition will increase in the order cobalt greater than less than RH plus, which will be less than IR plus. So in case of IR1 plus complex, the oxidative addition rate of oxidative addition will be highest. Now second trend is, I hope first point is clear. Now let's discuss the second point in the trends. Second point says, as the low oxidation state and lower oxidation state will be more favorable for oxidative addition. If we have, for an isoelectronic species, if we have low oxidation state of the metal, on the metal we have a lower oxidation state, then the rate of oxidation state will be faster for the one with lower oxidation state rather than one with higher oxidation state. That is, an low oxidation state is favored for oxidative addition to occur. This means if we have isoelectron field, let's say we have Ni 2 plus, cobalt 1 plus, and iron in 0 oxidation state, iron 0. In all these cases, electronic configuration is 3d10, sorry 3d8. In all these cases, we have 3d8 electronic configuration in a complex. We have 3d8. Each of these contains 8 electrons in its valency cell, all of these. And since we are saying a lower oxidation is more preferred, why? See, in the lower oxidation state, what will happen? The ionization energy will be lower. As the charge increases, the ionization energy increases. Ionization energy depends on the charge on the molecule. If the charge is if greater charge means greater nuclear force that is acting on the valence electrons, and hence it will be difficult for the valence electron to get donated to the incoming ligand. So the one with the lower oxidation state will have lower ionization energy in comparison to one with the higher oxidation state. Therefore, the rate of oxidation will decrease as we go from lower oxidation state to higher oxidation state. Therefore, the rate of oxidative addition will follow the order Fe0 will have the highest rate, followed by cobalt 1 plus, and least will be of Ni 2 plus, and least will be of Ni 2 plus. Third, then the possibility of AB undergoing oxidative addition depends on the relative stability of AB bond versus metal A bond and metal B bond strengths. The possibility of AB undergoing oxidative addition will further depend on the bond energies. If the bond energy of A bond B is higher than that of the metal A bond and metal B bond, then the oxidative addition will be slower or will not take place. But if the relative energy of Ma-Mb bond is higher than the Ab bond, then the oxidative addition reaction is favored and the reaction will occur in a faster fashion, will be faster. I hope this is clear. So what is happening in case on ligand, there is only one factor that you need to remember, that whichever bond is being cleaved in the ligand and is going to get oxidatively added to the metal center, that energy of that bond must be less than that of bond strength must be less than that of the bond strength of metal A and metal B bonds. Only then the oxidative addition reaction will occur at a faster rate. For example, in alkanes, the reaction is slower or occurs very less, but in case of alkyl halide, the oxidative addition reaction occurs rapidly or is more common in alkyl halides than in case of alkanes. This is because of this reason, because in alkane the CH bond strength is much higher than metal carbon and metal hydrogen bond strength, whereas in alkyl halide the metal and halide bond is weaker in comparison to metal carbon and metal halide bonds. That's why the oxidative addition reaction in alkyl halide is more common than in case of alkanes. This point can be asked in the question, numerical points in the objective part, so you must remember this. Then the fourth point in general trend is, if the complex is 18 electron complex, if an electron is a 18 electron complex, if the complex is 18 electron is an 18 electron complex, then either the oxidative addition will not take place, or if it takes place, then it will take place via dissociative mechanism. Then either oxidative addition do not occur, or occurs with dissociation of ligand present in the complex. For example, let us take an example, then it will become a bit clear to you. Let me rub this definition here when we discuss what I mean by this. For example, just wait a minute. This undergo reaction with Rx. to form RuRx CO whole 3 TMe3 plus CO. Now in this particular complex, this is the ruthenium complex, this is an 18 electron complex. This particular complex undergo oxidative addition with the elimination of one CO molecule. One CO from this particular molecule is lost and it gets converted to 16 electron complex. From 14 electron to 16 electron complex, what's happening actually? This loses on irradiation, HNu. On HNu, when irradiated, loses minus CO to form Ru CO whole 3 TMe3, and this particular react with Rx to give me this final product. So what is the reaction actually taking place? It is reaction taking place, dissociation of one CO bond to get into 16 electron complex, and this 16 electron complex is then oxidatively adding this to this Rx molecule to give me CO, to give me this particular complex oxidative addition product and with the elimination of CO molecule. I hope this is clear. Now the one more question. Then the last point in this is now so far we have seen that if we have complex 16 electron complex and 18 complex, but what happens when we have a complex with 17 electron? Let us discuss this. Fifth point. Fifth general trend says in a complex having 17 electron, in a complex having 17 electron or a binuclear complex or a binuclear complex or a binuclear 18 electron complex, then what happens? The oxidative addition, then in oxidative addition what happens is in oxidation state, in oxidative addition what happens? We get two products, we will get two products, then we get two products, that is two products, and what happens? The oxidation state of metal changes by 1 unit. Now so far we have noticed that the oxidation state changes by +2 charge, but in case of binuclear 18 electron complex or a 17 electron complex, the oxidative addition reaction, what happens? The metal oxidation state changes by only +1. Let's take an example, then it will become clear. For example, we have Mn CO whole 5 CO whole 5. This is a binuclear complex, binuclear 18 electron complex. Now when this react with ligand say AB, it will give me product A MnCO whole 5 plus B MnCO whole 5. This will give me these product. So what's happening? We are getting two different products. We are getting two products. One is Mna bonded with MnCO. Now if we check the oxidation state. Now here the oxidation state of Mn in this particular complex is 0. In this particular complex the oxidation state of Mn is 0. And if you look here the oxidation state is +1. Here also +1. Here oxidation state is 0 for both. For both the metal present in this particular complex, binuclear complex, oxidation state was 0, and for these complex the oxidation state of Mn was +1. So this means in case of H, let us take it as a CH3 and I. So what will happen? One complex will be CH3Mn and one complex will have IMn. Now if we calculate the oxidation state, it will be +1, and it will in this complex also the oxidation state of Mn is +1, and in initial starting complex both the Mn was in +0 oxidation in the 0 oxidation state. Therefore the oxidation state changes by +1, and since the oxidation is taking place and addition of the ligand is also taking place, therefore this is also an oxidative addition reaction, and these types of reaction are called binuclear oxidative addition. This type of reaction are basically called binuclear oxidative addition. These are called binuclear oxidative addition reaction. These are called binuclear oxidative addition reaction. And the question on this has been asked in the previous NET exams. On this part has been asked many times in previous years, and there is very likelihood that this time the question might come from this part. So you must know all these points related to oxidative addition that we have discussed. I have tried to cover maximum part of oxidative addition reaction, which has a more probability of being asked in the examinations of various CSIR, NET, JAM or GATE examination. The questions has been asked from these parts previously, and there is very likelihood chances that again the question can be framed from these particular general trends, criteria, conditions for the reactions and pathways of the oxidation state. The last thing that I want to tell you about is last part for today's videos. I will sum up this video with brief introduction on the pathways that are being followed in oxidative addition. Pathway. Oxidative addition pathway. There are three ways by which an oxidative addition can take place. First method is concerted oxidative addition. Second is SN2 oxidative addition, and the third one is free radical oxidative addition. So there are three possibilities, or there are three mechanistic pathways by which an oxidative addition reaction can take place in any complexes. First is the concerted, second is SN2, and third is free radical oxidation state. All these three pathways we are going to discuss in the next coming videos. In the next video I will be focusing on the concerted oxidative addition reactions, and with there we will see the mechanism for these concerted oxidative addition reactions and the characteristics of which kind of complexes or which type of substrates or the ligands that goes by the concerted oxidative addition reaction, or when does the pathway concerted pathways follow. all the conditions we will study. Then in the subsequent video we will study about SN2 oxidative addition reaction and the condition when this pathway will be followed. Similarly for free radical we will also be discussing in the coming video. One more thing I must tell you. Now the stereochemistry of the product. Stereochemistry of oxidative addition product. Now the stereochemistry of oxidative addition product depends on both nature of ligand as well as the pathway followed or the mechanistic pathway that is being followed during the oxidative addition, on that as well as on the nature of the ligand. And we can get either cis oxidative addition product or mixture of cis and trans oxidative addition product, and in few cases we get trans product, and in few cases we get the trans products. So this is all for today's video. I hope this video was very helpful to you all, and if you like my video, please don't forget to hit the like button, share my videos, share my channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe my channel for more videos and getting notified, and don't forget to hit the bell icon to get notified for the newest video that is being uploaded on this channel shortly.